Today, I want to make a claim. That claim is Xbox's approach to content delivery has eroded the pillar of exclusivity and rather brought in and unveiled that gamers like accessibility over exclusivity. We'll talk about this claim and we'll look at some aspects of the gaming conversation right now and why no one is actually worried in the real sense as to what PlayStation is doing to counterbalance this and how they can even approach this. Because to be honest, exclusivity and all of those pillars are a very financially heavy, task. You need money to be able to, if anything, develop exclusive games or money hat them or whatever it is that you want to do. And so if you don't necessarily have that kind of a war chest to do it, what else is your option in this case? In contrast, Xbox, on the other hand, that has the money to probably do all of that, is not doing it, but is making content available everywhere that it can. And so gamers now look at the two pieces and say, well, if content's available for me here, and not only is it available, but is also affordable, I think exclusives, in my opinion, are not necessarily that important as I can access the content. My wallet can also access the content. Now, that's kind of like a synopsis of my claim, but let's go ahead and delve into what the evidence shows us and what the data is telling us in this regard, right? Because I could just anybody can make a claim. I could just make a claim and I could walk away and I could say end of video. But how am I going to back up this claim of mine? Am I just talking foolishness? Am I just being crazy? Well, number one, let's assess what Xbox's content looks like, and let's assess the financial backing behind the content first. Number one, Xbox's content delivery is a combination of multiple publishers. I've said this in many videos. They even have it over here on their, PC app. So you can browse games by publishers: Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda, Xbox Game Studios. These are those under the Microsoft gaming banner. If you want, you can look at partnerships with EA, Riot Games, Ubisoft, ID at Xbox, and even some other third-party partners that we've not necessarily pointed out, but I just want you to go ahead and see what it is I'm pointing. In this particular content mix, in terms of just Activision, Blizzard, and Bethesda being shown here, you're looking at close to $80 billion worth of content possibility over the next few years. In many cases, you will see one game from Activision every year, and in many cases, you will see at least the minimum of 2 games from Bethesda every year. This already puts PlayStation in the back foot because PlayStation has had years where they've had from their own coffers 1 game. And that game, as an exclusive, has maybe had people look at it, but many of those people can also say to themselves, well, why should I bother with an exclusive when I actually have these games available to me here on Xbox? And not only that, there are people who may look and say those games are affordable to play if I don't have the money to buy them on Xbox. Hence, when the gamer weighs and looks at content over here, appealing content, by the way, versus exclusive content over here, appealing but expensive, I think most gamers would choose what actually suits them. And we know from an economic perspective, right, that opportunity cost is a real thing. You don't have unlimited resources, so you have to actually go that direction. That's just one piece of the puzzle. The second piece of the puzzle is how Xbox is also addressing its third-party partnerships. Xbox's third-party partnerships are actually very interesting. And like I said, the backing surrounding the third-party partnerships are very, very, impressive. In the sense that, for instance, the developers that did Lies of P, they made a post just recently where they were thanking Xbox for its support for their DLC for Lies of P. Now, this was very interesting because once I saw it, I said to myself, this is probably going to be the norm, and even much more will be something that you continue to see. So Lies of P developer on their Twitter, they said, every great performance needs a strong strong stage. Thank you to Xbox for supporting our Lies of P Overture preview event. We know that this game was a Game Pass game for a time being before it left Game Pass. And Xbox's approach allowed for these developers to sell their game everywhere. Anybody who was interested in the game at the time could have pretty much gone to, either play the game on Xbox or play the game on PlayStation or PC or use Game Pass and have access to the game. So this is a very interesting paradigm when you actually think about it, when you look at that whole thing. Now, this is not just with Lies of P, guys. This is, I mean, I've pointed this stuff out with other games, right? But there's one particular, paradigm that Ninja Gaiden 4 comes into. It's also now an Xbox Game Studios game and has the likelihood to now be somewhat attached to the Xbox Game Studios publishing. And so Xbox Game Studios publishing, even though they may not have right now the talent to make a wide, diverse variety of games in that action segment, Xbox can leverage its financial backing to get these developers to go ahead and make games under that banner. They've done it before. Insomniac developed Sunset Overdrive. Now look at what the pundits are saying about PlayStation. It's very interesting. When you kind of think about it, you'd be wondering to yourself, well, hold on. How are they actually doing this? What are they talking about? Daniel Camillo, Games Industry Biz writer, right? Well, and consultant said, Sony can do that thing where they remind consumers that the PS5 is cheaper than the Switch 2 and the Xbox, and then showcase a bunch of upcoming exclusives and pretty much drop the mic. They're in that position right now. Do you see this? Now, you may think that maybe Daniel Camillo might be a pro Xbox writer or not, or whatever it is, but there are people in the comments that share a sentiment, and there are people who actually laugh at it as well. But we're not necessarily interested in mocking or agreeing with the sentiment. We're interested in assessing whether the sentiment is based on a reality like the upcoming exclusives that he's talking about. How do they measure up to what Xbox is doing in terms of bringing content to everybody? This is where my argument comes into play that Xbox's approach to content delivery is eroding the pillar of exclusivity. What's also going on is anybody who is actually engaging in the gaming industry or anybody who wants to pay for games is going to look and say, well, the PlayStation exclusives, number one, compared to my wallet, I actually have to spend all this money playing all these games. In the case of the Xbox side, I can access their content without even the burden of buying a console if I choose to, and I can get the benefits that Xbox users are getting, which is games coming to Game Pass. In some cases, the exact same games like Blueprints, in some cases like Lies of P, in some cases like Expedition 33, in some cases like Wolong Fallen Dynasty, in some cases like Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. When you start to look at that particular, comparison, then I think this is where I can tell you that the whole exclusivity paradigm and the availability of content cannot necessarily mingle well and exclusivity still survive. Think about this. You have an exclusive game on PlayStation, exclusive, $80. Let's just say $70, right? 70 USD. Xbox, on the other hand, has no exclusive, but it gives you the option. So Xbox game, let's just say, come on, somebody give me a game. Let's just say Ninja Gaiden 4. That's coming out this year, right? You can pay $20 for the game. You can beat Ninja Gaiden. Many of you can beat Ninja Gaiden in like a week. Okay, some of you are real gamers. I'm a noob out here, right? Or you can pay. I think it's gonna be a $50 price tag game. You can pay $50 for it. Now, if I'm looking at this exclusive game that's coming out around the same time, maybe Ghost of Yotei, right? And I'm looking at my wallet, and I say, what does $70 give me? A digital license, a physical copy of a game, or whatever it is. But I also have Ghost of, I said Ghost of Tsushima. I also have Death Stranding. So the person who's on the PlayStation is thinking, I also got Death Stranding, which is another exclusive here that I got to pony up another $70 for. I think I'm probably better off if I look at my cost plus Ninja Gaiden's $50, right? Just pardon my handwriting. I'm still learning how to use this writing pad, by the way. So my handwriting is going to be whack. I mean, let me use a mouse so I show you that, I'm not a total idiot. So when you look at my 70 plus 50, I'm looking at $190 to play all these games. Now, honestly, I know that I don't own these games. I only own a digital license, even if I buy a physical copy. Why not just spend less? And even if I have all the money in the world, why not use all the money in the world to do something more fun and different? Or at least diversify in my hobbies. I think you can already see where opportunity cost. And anybody who comes out here to tell me I like to buy my games and blah, 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 shut up. You're a human being like all of us. You are subject to the laws of economics as well. Be quiet. Opportunity cost. If you weren't, Alfred would be typing your response in the comment section. Your butler would be doing it, not you. Quiet. Opportunity cost comes into the whole equation. And I think a number of gamers, and they will tell you in the comment section, they're still subscribed to Game Pass. Some of them from PlayStation will tell you that we'd probably take this deal here for Ninja Gaiden 4 and then come and pick and choose what we want, whether it be Yote or whether it be Death Stranding. We're not beholding to paying all this money. We have reduced our cost for Ninja Gaiden, and we'll pick one of our two favorites. Because the extra $30 or maybe the extra however many dollars that we save is nice to keep money in our pocket. This is why I said, and I made my claim, that it's not only eroding the exclusivity thing, it's financially beneficial to the gamer, thereby creating a strong case for the gamer to look at exclusivity in a different light. The gamer now says, I can come to, either Ghost of Yote or I can come to Death Stranding when it's on sale and when it's been discounted. So what Xbox has done is Xbox has extracted some money away from PlayStation's ecosystem and infused it into its own ecosystem because it's offering something that is appealing out there. Somebody said something to me yesterday in one of our conversations. I'm going to be appearing on a discussion with Proto Rock on his YouTube channel. That's the plan anyways, if everything goes well, God willing, if things are lined up properly. And they said that most of my evidence comes from a leaked Activision Blizzard King document and a subreddit thread. Do you know what they're doing? They're trying to downplay the impact of Game Pass and the reality that PlayStation gamers are looking at the financial perspective of this. Because if this was, say, me saying, oh, well, I didn't buy this and I went to buy that, it will be a different case. But now that they're seeing anecdotal evidence, because it's anecdotal by any means, anybody who wants to basically say that, you have to basically preface it with anecdotal, even though it's a lot of anecdotal, it is still anecdotal. They want to dismiss this reality, not knowing that behind this reality is a mathematical and a factual basis for it. These people that are here on this subreddit are not just talking out of their anal sphincters. They're actually addressing a financial reality based on opportunity cost that is directly affecting them. This is not a fanboy reality. This is a financial reality. Do you guys know how much the country complained about milk and eggs? Like, I gotta tell you, and every single one of you that play video games, each and every one of you, none of you can lie to me in this area. You walked out the grocery store these last few years and you shook your head and said, what the flip did I just buy? You, sir, ma'am, are just like every single one of us. Even the wealthy people looked at their money and said, why does my money feel like it's got no weight? Some of you were watching TikTok videos of people comparing receipts from 2019 compared to 2024. And you want to tell me that somewhere, somehow, all of you got this, redemptive mindset of, understanding financial matters, and you not want to be these spenders, and somehow Xbox basically making games available and putting it affordably on its platform is not going to affect gamers across the board? Sorry, I just don't believe it, because you've shown me that you don't behave like that, that instead you behave like other normal human beings. Talk to me in the comment section. Peace out.